Hello, welcome to the Opinionistics. I'm your host, John Maylone. In this episode, no co-host, because reasons, as always. Introducing, from London, John Luggear.
Hello,
Hello there.
how are you doing?
Great.
Good.
So, John, what is it you do for a living?
So I run a film and animation production company with my brother, and mainly direct animation.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that for?
For nearly 20 years. We started our company in 2006, so I don't know how many years ago that is now.
Okay. And what kind of animations that you and your brother have been working on over those years?
So he so we've done all sorts of things. So I've done animations for small businesses, for big businesses, charities, local government, stuff for publishers, record labels, and things. The best known animation I did was a clip for a children's Bible that went around the internet like mad when that came out. Um, but yeah, all sorts of different things.
Alright then, that's pretty cool. Are any other animation projects that you're working on at the moment?
Yes, so um, I'm in the background for in the background doing all these jobs uh, for other people. We've been developing our own stuff, and I've been developing a project for many years called Jazz Cow, which is an animated sitcom, and it's about a jazz playing cow that leads a resistance movement to big tech. So he's fighting against the algorithms and the fake filters and AI and all this kind of stuff that's coming in, and him and his band of weirdo friends are fighting the system. All they want to do is just play jazz, but that's not an option for them.
Okay, I actually kind of like this idea. It's pretty funny and interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, what was life for you growing up?
So I grew up the first half of my life in Nottingham, which is in the Midlands of England, and then when I was 10, moved down to London. Um, I was to say to pursue a career in animation. No, I just went with my parents, and then I spent a lot of time, like a lot of kids did in the 80s, watching TV, and I loved animation, and I was like, oh, I want to work out how to do this, and so ended up looking at the credits, trying to go, what is this thing? This is exciting. Learning more about it, making flick books, drawing a lot, um, having a laugh with people, and yeah, that was the beginning of my story.
Wow, nice. Where do you see yourself 20 years from now?
Um, so I'll be I'll be coming up to the official kind of government retirement kind of age there, and I have no interest at all in retiring. I want to be making my own stuff, really. So I'd love to be um animating, still animating, still drawing, making things.
Fantastic. Are there any other jobs or opportunities you haven't done yet you want to do them someday?
Hmm. So every new job is exciting. I always love. I mean, it's the great thing about running a company and being a service to many other companies over many years is we've worked across lots of different industries, worked with different types of people, and it's always fun. Every new project is fun, and so I want to always continue to be doing new things. Um, the c- I'm just trying to think of. I guess what I'd love is Jazz Cow to become a series rather than just trying to pitch to do the pilot, and this series just becomes something that just keeps running and running and running. Um, I'd love to do an animated feature at some point. That'd be fun. Um, yeah, wherever life takes me, really. I'm always up for new opportunities. So,
Fantastic. Would you sleep on the wall or sleep on the ceiling?
um, if I could sleep on a ceiling, I'd sleep on a ceiling. But I I have slept on a wall. I'm not sure how I'd do it on a ceiling.
Oh, yeah, it's one of life's biggest mysteries.
What's he called? The Nanu guy. He slept on the ceiling, didn't he? In one of the episodes. Mork and Mindy. I'm sure he slept on a ceiling at some point.
Yeah, it does sound like it. If your mind was an island, what would it look like?
It would be um it'd be interconnected. So I'm imagining um forests and all the forests interconnecting and all the roots and things going under. So I think everything is connections. So my mind is constantly making connections. So I guess it will be an ecosystem that's around that.
Yeah, I could see that. What's the best way to travel?
Um, okay, I'm going to give two answers to this. One, I'd say by foot. You can't beat going by foot because you just get to see things close up and um, around you. Um, but then going by boat is down rivers is fun because everything is so much slower. I don't know, it slows the pace of life down. Um, quite mindful of something I read by Tolkien, who said that we going by transport, if as transport's got faster and faster and faster, that we become less connected and we don't really see what's going on. And I think he's right. Um, so I think the slower pace of transport is actually something that we should embrace a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to animating, what are what are some things that are important to know when doing animation?
Um, so I think it's important to know. Well, firstly, I'd go all the way back to the story. I go, what is the story about? What are you trying to achieve with it? What is the heart of it? Because from the story, from the core, that's where everything has to flow. But then there are some basic animation principles that if you get right, your animation will be better because the world follows a set of logical rules. And so if the physics is wrong, it's not believable. And when you're creating a story, you want suspension of disbelief. You want to be actually in it and believe it to be true. And so anything that jolts you out of that is frustrating. And so the this classic animation rules um that that I would say you have to go back to. Um and I'd also making sure the acting in the animation is convincing, that when people don't just get out of a seat like a mechanical machine. They think, they turn their head, they think about things. So I think you're breathing life into these drawings. They're not just um, something on a piece of paper. They're they're supposed to look alive.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Would you rather speak all languages or talk to animals?
All languages.
Honestly, yeah, I'd say the same. Where has been the furthest you traveled to from where you were originally from?
Right. Furthest I've traveled to. Oh, it'll be uh Paraguay, I would guess. I'm just trying to see if there's anywhere that's further. I think Paraguay would be the furthest.
Sweet. What always makes you laugh?
Uh, what always makes me laugh? So many things make me laugh all the time, but I'm trying to think of something that will consistently do it. Um, I'm not sure. The times I'm more consistently going to laugh actually is going to be with friends rather than any kind of comedy. Although there are lots of sitcoms and things that you go back to and they are really funny. If I'm Mr. Bean, his the comic timing of Rowan Atkinson is always hilarious.
Oh yes. I I'm speechless. It's the amount of times I'll laugh at that. It's just madness.
And yet those same things in the hands of another comedian would not be funny. He's just so yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, there's a certain something that it's only funny when he does it, but when everyone else tries to do the same, it just doesn't feel the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. How much time do you spend on the internet?
Too much. I don't know. So I know there are these things that measure it on your phone and all that kind of stuff. And but I don't actually have any official information. What I do know is I can be sat there on the internet working all day. Um, I think it's actually very unhealthy. In fact, it's one of the themes of Jazz Cow is that he's in resistance to this kind of totalizing effect of being on the internet the whole time. And so I feel a hypocrite in some ways because I'm on it all the time. But I don't think it's good. I think we should get out, breathe some air, touch some real things. So
Yeah,
um yeah, but I've got no idea. Um yeah,
yeah, I certainly,
I have YouTube playing a lot in the background when I'm working as well, so that would add to my hours.
yeah, I definitely understand that sometimes if we're too consumed with the internet, it's bad. But of course, if you find yourself to do that occupies or that distracts you from the internet, I think that's good enough.
Yeah, I think even just where you're cutting yourself off and recentering yourself into, well, what is reality? What am I actually doing? Is just such a healthy thing to do. And so I think even if we're on all day because of our work, we need to have some period where we're not, otherwise we'll go mental.
Yes, absolutely. Have you met anyone famous?
I have. Um, I'm just trying to think who. I think everybody has, but they all kind of. Uh, Nick Park. I mean, he's not super famous, but he directed the Wallace and Gromit um, film. He's one of the directors at Aardman. Um, he's he's I guess relatively famous. Um, but I have met more famous people. I think I can't remember.
Well, I do think that alone is pretty good, honestly.
Mm,
I do love watching Aardman animations. It's just something. It's spectacular.
they're brilliant.
Yes.
I think he's won more Oscars than any other Brit as well.
Oh wow. Impressive. That'll be quite a challenge for any Brits wanting to win an Oscar. What food you never eaten but would like to try?
um, Guinea pig. I've got a friend that keeps telling me we're going to go off and eat guinea pig together, but we never have. But I do want to do that. That'd be fun. Now all the animal rights people are going to want to hang me.
Yeah, I can certainly understand and see how that would go. But hey, there's other places around the world that eat other kinds of animal, like somewhere in Asia eats dog. Other people eat horses, which is controversial in some parts of the world. So there's people eating other kinds of animals. We just
It's
don't
just which
think of it
ones.
as normal because it's not part of their culture.
Exactly. I've got a Korean friend and he loves dog. He said when he was living in the UK, it was the thing he missed most from home.
Yeah, I can see that. Hopefully he gets home safe.
Yes. He sent a photograph of him in a restaurant eating dog at the moment, like within a few days of him getting back.
Oh man, that is funny, man. What was the last book you've read?
I'm just trying to think what the last one is. I can tell you what's the one next to my bed that I'm halfway through, and that's a book about worldview and identity and personhood, which sounds very philosophical, but it's not quite as heavy as it sounds or as clever as it sounds. But it's trying to resolve the that well, it's talking about the idea that all the kind of philosophical outlooks that people have on life come from people. They don't just come off a shelf. They're actually come out of personhood. So um, I thought that was quite interesting, but I haven't finished it yet. Um, but it makes me sound a lot more clever than I really am.
Okay, that's cool. If you could travel back in time, what decade would you like to live in?
So in terms of living in, I feel like although it seems that everything in our in the world is collapsing at the moment, I kind of want to live where I am because I know how that works, but I really want to time travel. So I'd like to see everything. Um, Even just going back, yeah, I don't know which era. There's too many different eras. Um, Quite like to see what medieval life was like, but I think I'd probably end up getting sick and then dying.
Yep, that was the craze back then. What could you give a 40-minute presentation on without any preparation?
I don't know. I can talk about a lot of topics if I need to, but a 40-minute presentation is quite long. Um, I could, I mean, it would probably be something to do with animation. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm doing a talk this weekend at an event, and I'm talking about Jazz Cow and talking about a lot of the ideas behind it. And I'm doing so it's an hour long session, and I'm struggling with my prep for that. So who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. What natural landmark would you like to see someday?
As in, when you say natural, you're meaning yeah, not a human made thing.
Yeah, nothing human made.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I, at the moment, my brain is just zooming around the world, looking at different things. That's why I've gone quiet. Um, I think probably Victoria Falls. Um, that looks that looks pretty amazing in when I see pictures of it, videos of it.
What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. I'm just gonna look it up just so that I can quote it right um because I like it and it's funny. It's just looking it up. One moment. He was a tubby little chap who looked as if he'd been. Oh, he was a tubby little chap who looked as if he'd been poured into his clothes and had forgotten to say when. From Pidgey Woodhouse, from one of his
Ah,
Jeeves and Wooster books. I just love that. It just
yeah,
puts the image in your head and makes you laugh at the same time. It's brilliant.
yeah, that's pretty funny. If you could travel anywhere around the world, where would it be?
Um, so many places. I mean, I want to go everywhere, but Ethiopia. I'd like to go to the I've forgotten what they call it, but there's these churches that they've cut into the rock down. So where in Europe the cathedrals go up, in in this area of Ethiopia they go down. So there are these crosses that are literally cut into the rock, and people go down, and they look incredible. I can just look up what they're called because yeah, Lalibela, Lalibela, something like that. They're incredible.
Sweet. Very nice. What recent news story have you found most interesting?
Uh, it's funny because I've got more and more fed up with the news. I find it to be very um, seems seems to be whichever news source you go to is trying to make you angry or trying to get you riled up about something, and so I've got more and more turned off of the news. And I used to watch it constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure you noticed, but I can't hear you right now. But if you can hear me, then yes, that's great. I think there's a communication problem now, so I can't hear what you're saying now.
Oh, what's going on?